Hello, I thought I would do some audio to some visuals because my eye's pretty sore at the moment and I don't really fancy having to focus on a camera. So I thought I would give some updates of where I'm at right now. I think the last video I was talking about having another conversation with my GP about surveillance scans, which I did have a few weeks ago now. It felt like a better conversation. It felt more like a two-way conversation. I was better prepared and had some information, and my GP, she listened and she was very good. But the answer is still the same. I guess they need direction from Moorfields to refer me to a medical oncologist, and they won't be doing that themselves. The GP recommended that I raise this with Moorfields when I go again in my follow-up appointment, which I do intend to do anyway. I don't hold out any hope they're going to change their mind on surveillance scans, but I will bring it up anyway. I haven't had a date through for the follow-up appointment yet, but I will chase it in April because I think it's due to be around May. It was kind of disappointing, but it's what I expected, and I'm kind of glad I've got a plan going forward. That's all I wanted to know. I'm making the assumption that Moorfields are going to say no to surveillance scans, and at that point I will start looking for private providers so I can organise my ultrasound liver scans. I've been out driving a bit more since, and it's going okay, but it does take a lot out of my eye. In fact, both eyes feel sore, and I guess that's because the good eye is having to compensate for what my OM eye can't do. We went out the other day and it was a half an hour drive each way. I wanted to do the drive. We went to a nature reserve, so we were just walking around, but obviously you're using your eyes all the time, and by the time we got home my eye was really sore, so I'm not sure what else I can do. It's not like I'm driving every day, but I've built up to half an hour, which is, I think that's a good amount of time. My husband is happy to drive when need be. I've also noticed, I think, that being in busy places hasn't helped. I think I've mentioned before that being around sort of busy places and other people can be quite overwhelming. We went into town the other day, we walked into town, and I think just because I have to move more slowly, I can't just kind of give a quick glance and dash across the road now like I used to, and it's made me realise how much I must have used my eye before just to look quickly and just to establish what's around me, and maybe like you don't even register that, and it's only when you can't use your eye like that anymore that you realise that how much work it was doing. So really have to slow down crossing the road. But also when I'm around people, I guess again my eye will have been scanning around just to kind of get a sense of where I am and where other people are, and that feels a bit more difficult now because I can't do that with my OM eye. So I think that's probably why I feel a bit overwhelmed in crowds, because if I want to do that I have to physically move my head, and if I'm honest, most of the time it's easier for me to kind of look towards the ground just a few feet ahead of me when I'm walking around, because that's less strain on my eye. But I guess all of this has left me feeling really frustrated with, the new sort of physical limitations that I find myself in. I used to love reading, and now that's just, that's difficult because I can't do that for very long, and I've discovered the read aloud function on Microsoft Edge, and I've got some books in PDF form, so that's been good being able to listen to them. But I kind of like following along the text as well, because the computer voice can be a bit hit and miss, but again that's more strain on the eye. So I've been feeling a bit frustrated and a bit low about that. You may have noticed I've turned comments off in this video because I'm just not in a place to hear people say in a few months time you'll be in a better place and you get used to it, and I'm sure all that is true, but I'm just not in a place to hear that right now. I want to allow myself to feel sad and frustrated and angry and just fed up. I just need to feel those things. I know people mean well when they say, it'll get better, but sometimes it feels like people are trying to pull me out of where I'm at, and I'm like, I know I'm in a different place even from when I was back when I was diagnosed. I'm in a bit different place, better place mentally, but I've needed the time to process things to move myself forward. I don't want people dragging me out of that place. So that's why I've turned comments off. I'm not in the mood at the moment. I'm sorry. I'll be going back to work in April. My fit note ran out at the beginning of March, and I've got quite a bit of annual leave I need to use, so that takes me up to April time. And I had a occupational health assessment this morning, and that went well, and we've got some sort of ideas for what might be helpful. It's anxiety provoking, the thought of going back to work, both from a mental and a physical perspective. I think it's going to be tiring and draining and challenging. But the problem is me putting off going back is not going to stop that fear being there, and it's not going to stop those challenges when I go back. I feel in a better place to go back. I feel I'll be able to go back, but it's just navigating these challenges that I'm nervous about. The nurse from occupational health said, it may be that you need to be re-referred at some point if things need to be adjusted further. So it's good that they're open to that, I guess. And one of the recommendations she gave me was to go to my opticians and see if I can get some anti-glare lenses for my glasses. I think I might have to get another prescription, but I kind of wanted to wait until 6 months post-procedure, because I don't know if my eye is still adjusting really, but could do with another prescription, I think. I don't know if it'd be better to buy some tinted lenses for my glasses, because again, when I go back to work, I'm in a space where there's a lot of artificial light. I don't know how I'm going to respond to that. Maybe it would be better if I wait till I'm back, see how I get on with the lights. And then if it is too much, I'll see about getting some tinted lenses if that's possible, or those ones that kind of darken if you're in a bright place. So that's work. And then I'm going to be seeing some family this week, which again, it's nerve-wracking because it'll be the first time I've seen them in person since all this happened. And I guess I'm just bracing myself for well-meaning but annoying comments. But I guess it's down to me in those moments to say, look, I know you mean well, but it would be really helpful if you said something like this instead. I think I need to speak up more about that. So there's lots of things that I guess when they kind of sit on top of each other, they create a kind of a culmination of anxiety and uncertainty. It's all part of the process. It may be the next video I do might be once I've been back at work for a bit, let you know how I'm getting on. And then the next thing after that will be the follow-up of Moorfields. Fingers crossed I will have some positive news from that. So I will wish you well, and I will speak to you soon.